Okay, so this is one. These are actually one of our listings. One of the agents got.
Okay,
Uh,
I need
so
it.
all he got was just a download link, and then when you click that, um, you've got the download images. Um, Now, usually with professional photographers, you're going to get print quality and web quality. A lot of times you can choose. Um, so the print quality one, that's usually what you use for flyers, or if you're printing them full size, like Pat does
Mhm.
that in her home books.
Yeah.
For that, you definitely want print size. If you're just doing flyers with small pictures, you could actually just download the web ones and you're probably
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
That'll be a lot quicker. But for uploading to the MLS, you definitely want the web ones. That way they're not too big and
Mhm.
don't upload, and it'll upload much quicker.
Yes.
So we'll download all of them on this one. So click download. And this is, right now I'm in Microsoft Edge, which even though it's using the Chrome engine now, there are
Mhm.
some differences. This is a pretty big one.
Quite a big, yeah, downloading, taking time.
Yeah, for 29 pictures, I didn't think it would be that big, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
already up to 400 megabytes.
Maybe it's probably got too many colors in it. It looks like the background coloring of the trees is quite a lot. Makes it big.
Yeah, well, usually if there's lots of similar colors, usually pictures compressed. Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
So if you're in Edge, once it's done downloading, you want to click Show in Folder, which is the little
Okay.
folder icon, and then you'll right click on it and do Extract All,
I see.
and then just hit Extract, and that'll make a folder with all the files in it that's got the same name
As the original.
as the original one. So
Mhm.
once you do that, you can actually delete the zip file. Just it gets less confusing. And especially when you've got big files like this, it'll free up a lot of space.
Yeah, that's right.
And then now you can just go through the folders like normal. You can upload them to the MLS. That's a common thing I see is people get the zip file and they try to upload the zip file into Matrix for their photos,
Mhm.
and it's not going to work because it's not a valid image file.
I see. Okay.
Um,
Well, sometimes that's the kind of message I get. It says it cannot be open in this.
right.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, when you're in, Windows has built-in support for zip files, so you can click on it, you can browse through it, the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to upload to a website,
Mhm.
unless they specifically create something for zip files,
Mhm.
you can't access the individual images to
I
upload
see.
them because they're not files. They're
Yep.
part of just part of a file in the zip
Mhm.
file. So it won't let you do it. And then let me um, copy this, and I'll do the same thing in Chrome. That will come up a bit different and just make it smaller. I'm just going to do the web photos this time.
Mhm.
You'll see how much faster it goes. So, okay, and it's already, no, it's not quite done. Okay, now it's done. So if you're in Chrome, you just right click on the file
Mhm.
and then show in folder, and that'll bring you to the same thing. And it will automatically highlight the file too.
That's right.
So, and then again, you just do the extract all. I normally leave show extracted files when complete unchecked, and that we'll just do it. Now this, because it's already there, we're going to get an error. Um, if you're not sure if it's identical, hit skip. Otherwise, you can just hit replace. Then we'll delete that one. as they're pictures.
I see.
So that's pretty simple, but if you're not familiar with zip files, it can kind of throw you off a bit.
So if you replace the original with this particular extracting one, if you go back to the email which sent you the link, what happened if you click on the original link? Will it automatically go to this file, or it will need to go through the steps of extracting?
So, well, if you go to the link again, usually it will download the file, but then put like a number 2 on the end.
Okay.
So you end up with duplicates.
That's right.
That's the way the browsers work nowadays. They're just automatically saving it, and to prevent accidentally overwriting something, they put a number 2 or 3,
I see.
and that's how you'll end up.
Yeah.
Especially like on the computers in the office, I'll see in the downloads,
Okay.
someone opened the same attachment 5 times. So now
Okay.
there's 5 copies of the file in the
1, 2,
download.
3. I know.
So I go every so often, I go through, clear out the duplicates,
Yeah, duplicate.
just to free up space.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's something to be aware of. You can go into the browser and actually change it to say always ask, and then when you do it that way, you can see if it's adding the one or not, or it'll give you a warning saying, hey, this already exists.
That's right. I see. Good to know.
And then the other thing I do, I always keep my downloads sorted by date modified. So if it's not already set that way, just click date modified, and that'll put the newest at top. And that makes it a lot easier to find. And if you right click and do group by, and also group by date modified, that will give you these little headings where I've got today, earlier this week, last week,
Okay,
earlier
that's
this month.
interesting. That's useful to know. You can remember
So
what time.
yeah, the big thing is when you sort just by date modified, all the folders are down at the bottom.
That's right. Okay.
So like, if you notice, the zip file in this folder were both together under today. If I wasn't grouped by date, the folder would have appeared way down here. And it's not obvious that you have 2 copies, and it's
So you can also search the downloads by the first few characters of the label, right?
yeah, yeah, in the box here you can also search.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then the other thing I was going to cover is for making zip files, if you need to email stuff. With photos, creating a zip file doesn't make them smaller. Just as a heads up, because photos are already compressed with algorithms specifically for doing photos. Whereas zip files, they're just using kind of a generic compression. It works okay for most things, but if something's already compressed with better compression, it's not going to compress anymore. It might actually get slightly larger. But for things like PDFs, they can often get much smaller when you zip them. So if even if you only have like 2 attachment, 2 PDFs you're trying to send, but if they're too big, if you use the zip them together, it may compress it enough that you can send it by email. So for doing that, you just select the files you want. So I'll just pick a few random ones here. If you hold down Control, you can mix. Then let me do one big one here. So once you have your files selected, right click on it and do send to, and then compressed zipped folder.
I see.
And it'll automatically name it with whatever file you selected on. I'm just going to call this one test. It will highlight it, so you can just type. You don't have to select it.
Oh, you can change the label, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, so now this, if we go back and see which files I did, this one, one of these I think was scanned, so it didn't shrink much, but it shrank a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was, yeah, it shrank just slightly. Now, if you have everything in its own folder, that's actually a better way, like how these ones came.
Yeah.
You can right click on the folder and send to compressed. And that will just name it whatever the folder name is.
I see.
Now it will, sometimes when you're doing this, it's creating a folder. And then when you extract it, it's creating another folder. So as an example, let me delete this and extract all. So we've got a folder with that name, but when I open it, oh, there's the original folder. And then, so if that happens, what I like to do is I'll just cut this, then go back a step, paste it. And now we don't have the
You
layers
have a
of
duplicate,
folders.
yeah.
So and then, yeah, the zip file, once you have it, that if you need, if you're emailing it, you can just attach it to an email like a
I
normal
see.
file.
Mhm.
But it's especially handy if you've got, if even if it's not too big, if you're trying to send like 10 or 12 files, a lot of times zipping them makes it easier rather than,
Send them as a kind of zip file.
yeah, sending them all. I mean, as an example, yesterday, actually one agent, they were trying to forward an email
Mhm.
and it had, I think it had like 5 forms attached to it,
Okay.
but this was from a title company and it also had attachments for their logo, their signature, their photo,
I see.
all this stuff. In total, it had 16 attachments.
Wow.
When he tried to forward the email, it only attached the first 5 attachments, which were just photos, not the forms he wanted.
I see.
So he ended up having to individually download each form, and then do a brand new email and attach all of them back.
Okay. But
So
normally, if
doing
you
zip
get them
files,
in
if it's lots of
file,
files,
okay,
that
you
helps
just
avoid.
send it as a kind of an attachment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Just like a PDF, you just send attach, click on it, and it goes. Yeah. Okay. It saves time actually because sometimes this large file individual like PDF he did that took time.
yeah, it can save you time. And like in his case, if it had been a zip file, it would have saved a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's one thing most people don't realize. Like when you see the pictures in an email, a lot of times those are actually they're what's called an inline attachment. So you don't always see it under attachments, but they're there behind the scenes. So when you forward it, it has to attach them.
That's a time.
And
Okay.
most systems will only attach so many files
Mhm.
before they just stop.
And this also probably would be the same way as large documents, which are mostly text.
Yeah,
You can also, do a zip file for them.
yeah. And zip files were actually, well, they were designed for sending programs as well as text files. So those compress really well.
I see. Yeah, they do.
It normally makes like text files, it's normally at least half the size.
Okay.
But nowadays, text files usually aren't large enough to be an issue.
Okay. Because mostly PDF works.
Yeah, PDFs, well, it's mostly things with images, like a PDF with images or scanned PDF is gonna be big.
Mhm.
But still, like I said, if you have a whole bunch of them, it's a lot of times easier to just zip them together.
I see.
Then the
Yeah.
person receiving it can just download it, unzip it, instead of
Mhm.
having to hit download, 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 download.
That's good.
So, okay. Did you have any other questions?
I mean, it's good that with the Microsoft Edge, it's there. Because I remember years ago, you have to download a zip, WinZip or 7-zip to be able to
Right.
do that. Yeah, but now it's easier with Microsoft Edge. You know.
Yeah, for the most part, it's easier with since it's built in. It's the original is actually PK zip.
Okay.
And I think Microsoft they either bought it or at least licensed it to use in
Okay.
Windows
And then
quite
incorporate it
a long time ago.
into its computers.
Yeah, and there are alternatives. Like you may have noticed, like on mine, I've got uh these shortcuts here. This is actually called WinRAR.
Mm-hmm.
RAR is actually a bit better compression,
Okay.
but most people don't have that. So I wouldn't use any of the
That's right.
alternative
Because normally
ones.
just use the common one like Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Everybody has that at least on their laptops.
Yeah, Zip. Well, Zip is I'm pretty sure even Macs have built-in support for Zip.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the common one. Yeah, any others like I know like the 7-zip that I know does RAR files, but most people nowadays don't have that. So
That's
it's
right.
just going to confuse them. And the file for the most part, like the file size isn't that big of a difference. I actually for my personal stuff, I use RAR
Okay.
just so that because lots of programs when you're searching,
Mm-hmm.
because Windows supports zips, they're searching inside the zip files.
I see.
And I mainly use it for like archiving old stuff for the website. So I don't want it searching that. So I'm using an oddball format
Okay.
to block it.
I understand. That's right.
So
Yeah.
that is one handy thing, but with using an oddball one. But yeah, for sure, for communications, you don't want to use oddball formats. Use the standard zip.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay. So I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, that's great because I mean it's quite a good refresher because sometimes when they change everything from the original WinZip, it's good to know that that's how it gets done. So I'm pretty much up to date now on how to unzip or extract the files, which is good. And I can
Yeah.
easily do it. Yeah. So most of the listings I get now are lots of pictures and sometimes they come in zip form. So that's useful. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, I mean, I know I've seen times where photographers they'll take like 70, 80 photos.
Yeah, I know now they do everything. Photographers just pile it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send
And
it to
then
the
yeah, if you're
agent.
trying to do it one by one, it takes
Yeah,
forever to download.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Good. Thank you very much.
Okay. And then do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I'm all good so far. So good as far as I know. I was able to get all answered. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So okay. Well, I guess we'll cut it short.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. Thank you very much. See you again later. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye.